You're listening to the Shoot Your Shot podcast. I'm Jen.
And I'm Megan, and we're two boss babes sharing our businesses and inspiring you along the way.
And we are back for a second week together, and it feels magical. It also took me double the time to get here today because Meg lives in the woods, literally, and there was a road closed, and it was we sound like we fully live in the country, so any city folk listening are going to be like, where do you live? But there's literally one road to get to Meg's house from my house that is the direct route, and that road was closed. So but here I got to really enjoy the foliage that is currently out.
I know, you took a little video, you showed me, it looked beautiful.
It was gorgeous, honestly. And it's so funny, I was thinking about back in the day, if I was going to my corporate job and that would have happened, I would have been so stressed out. I would have been so worried about being that late to work, because technically I'm coming to work today because I came to do a podcast with you. Yeah. And it just reminded me how lucky I am that I wasn't stressed. Yeah. I took it as I get to explore a new road that I've never been down before in my area.
Ooh, chills.
Right?
Chills.
And I listened to a podcast longer than I would have been able to because my time was much longer. And I just soaked it all in of how much I've retrained my brain that I don't need to be stressed about everything in life. I was a little stressed because I was I'm going to be super late to see Meg. I mean, it was 15 minutes. It wasn't that late. But it just really reminded me that I'm so lucky that I get to live this life right now.
Yeah, and that we can do whatever we need to do on our own time, because you texted me and you said, there's a 30-minute delay. There's a tree down or something, the road closed. And I was like, okay, more time for emails now, I guess, instead of later. So that's cool. It's so nice to be able to do things on your own time when they fit your schedule, as long as you do them. And that's one of the first things that we wanted to talk about was being your own boss and having to instruct yourself to do things and find the best time to do things, because having a boss, having somebody guide you and have a list for you and to check in with you every day, they're telling you what to do every day. But being a business owner, you have to be that person for yourself. So you really can't be a procrastinator as much as we are. But we have improved a lot this year, as we talked about in our last episode, that you've been doing your menus more in advance this year, and I feel more on top of things this year. So it's a learning curve that everybody, I think, gets better and better at each year in business. And we had a couple of stats. I don't know what the flow, we have a general idea of a plan of what we want to talk about today. But that just kind of got away from me. I saw a bridge and I was like, I'm going to take it and run with it.
Yes,
so go ahead.
But it totally aligns with kind of the topic. So today's topic is why most people don't make it and how you can be the exception. And kind of how we wanted to dive into that was I had some inspiration on this topic from a very good friend of mine who has been an entrepreneur for the past 3 to 4 years. And she recently just got a full-time job. And she is not stopping her business. Her business is just a little bit on the back burner right now, which is absolutely fine. And she also has 2 kids similar in ages to mine, and we hang out with all of them a lot. And they were at some trampoline park that we went to recently, and her and I got to sit and talk. And she was saying, I forget. Okay, so the story started with one of her kids got sick and she was able to work from home half day with her child. And then she was able to also work from home the next day. And she goes, I really have to figure out this transition of working from home because it's not easy. And she's like, and I forget how hard it was being an entrepreneur. She's only been she's gotten her new position for about a month now. And she's like, I forgot how hard it is to train yourself to do your job. She's like, it is so much easier for someone to tell me what to do, to have a deadline, to have a task. A lot of her projects are project based. So she gets assigned a project and then has to do the project, versus entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
There is really unless you set a project for yourself. Yeah. There is really no deadlines unless you have a deadline for a client, versus me. Yes, I have events, but those are ones that are already booked. I need to focus on the ones that aren't booked. And what's my deadline? I have marketing strategies and things like that, but you're really doing this on your own.
Yeah.
And she just really reminded me back to my corporate days where we had a quota. I was in sales, catering, event sales, and I had a quota every month. And basically my job was to surpass my quota. So like, yes, I can set these goals for myself of I want to book X amount of events at X amount of revenue. But at the end of the day, like, yeah, I could be down on myself for maybe not doing that, but I don't. I'm just like, oh, I'll do it next month. I'll get there next month, you know? And it's just, it really was eye-opening for me to realize like how proud I am of myself that I'm able to run this business knowing how freaking hard it is. It's hard.
It is hard. It is hard. And my thing with the deadline thing, sometimes I do try to set deadlines for myself with like little things like, oh, I want to update my website by, you know, or whatever. And I know you do that with the newsletter. You have a goal to do a newsletter once a month, every other month, something like that. Yeah. But the thing with us as small business owners is like, we're the bosses, like we make the rules. So like if the deadline's not working for me, like no need to ask my boss for permission. I just won't do it, you know? So that's what I struggle with. And I think I've gotten better this year about is that, you know, there's something that I want to do that's on the back burner, but like, I know who makes the rules and like, she's a pushover. So
you can easily persuade her.
Exactly. So that's tough. Just holding yourself accountable and, making sure that everything gets done. But when it's somebody else's task, like you said, for a client or something, that's a totally different beast because you want to succeed and you want to do the best and you want to provide and you want the good review at the end of the day. So that's totally different, but working for yourself and doing things for yourself that are only going to benefit yourself and furthering your business, like marketing and being out there, that is tough.
And I think this also goes into like, you know, there's going to be pitfalls in your business and everyone has them. And for us, we're seasonal businesses. Mm-hmm. And I am going into, well, we both are, but I'm going into my winter business where I don't do events. January, February, March, even April. If I do, it's like one or two. And I put in a lot of like different things of my business. Like this is when I do my cocktail classes. This is when I do my mompreneur events. This is when I do the other income producing business ideas that I have. Yep. But it's not specific to the Vintage Horse mobile bar at an event bartending out of the horse trailer, which is like the primary of my business. Yeah. And I think my mobile bar coach calls it winterizing your business. And
I love that. That's really cute for a
isn't
trailer
that
also.
Awesome?
Yeah.
Yes. Literally it goes so well.
That's so cute.
Because I've learned, and now this is year 5 for me. So it took me, and I still am in it. Like I still am like worried about winter season, but in such a different way now. And she told me this last year, and I tell myself, and I want to tell our audience, every season comes for a reason. And all the flowers bloom in the spring and they are flourishing in the summer, and then they start to die in the fall, and then they really die in the winter, but then they come back to life again. Right. And I feel like as an entrepreneur, I need that winter season to like curl into a ball and go under my covers and binge watch a few Netflix series. Yeah. And just like retrain my brain again to have that motivation for next year. And I feel like it's needed in a lot of industries, especially in this industry where you are go, 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 go. Yeah. And we all know Jen doesn't know how to slow down. Yeah. But I think I have really learned over the years that this business forces me to slow down. Mm-hmm. And like, yes, I take other avenues of things that I'm going to do, but they're lighting me up in different ways to bring me back to next summer of the Vintage Horse. Like she's going to rock and roll because I miss it. And I miss that, you know, satisfaction of like, we just did our last wedding. We still have a lot of events coming up, but it was our last big wedding. And it just like, it made me sad because I'm like, we just talked about how we're starting our busy season and busy season's
I know. It feels like it, right?
Yes. And now it's like over already. I know. And I'm like, what the heck? How did that happen?
I know.
So it's kind of also that reminder of it goes by really fast too. So I think for me, especially this year, I am looking at winter in such a different avenue. And I think I've really set myself up differently this year, financially, mentally, personally, all the things, to have a really good mindset this winter.
I love that. You winterized the business so you could hibernate.
Literally.
Yeah, that's so cute. Yeah. But I would really like to do an episode on the winter season because you have a lot of really cool creative ideas that fit your business, but fit your business in a different way that's not like the main sauce
Yep.
of your business. They're like side dishes. I think that's really cool. I would really like to do an episode on that because there's a lot of cool creative things that you could do with photography too. That could be like a slow season project sort of thing that I would like to get into more. So that might be like motivating for me.
And I think for entrepreneurs, and I always use myself as an example because I feel like a lot of people can relate. It is very hard when you're go constantly just to hit that halt moment of like, wait a minute, what's happening? And it's a mental like screw up in your brain where it's like, wait a minute, what do I do next?
Yeah.
So if you're not setting yourself up for what's next, and that's where I brought in all these other multiple streams of income because yes, I needed it financially, but I also needed it mentally because I needed that form of gratification of like, I'm doing something for myself, for the business, for whatever. And it's just a different outlook on it. And yeah, I don't know. I just love it. And it's, you know, I have a few people now reaching out about doing cocktail classes because I mentioned it over the year. I'm like, oh, I do these. Whereas last year I didn't even talk about it. And now I have like a few lined up because I mentioned it to other people. And that's what it takes. It takes you having that conversation with someone about, hey, I do this thing. And then it picks up and it kind of goes from there. So yeah, it's just, I'm actually excited for winter this year.
Oh, that's so motivating.
But I also have a lot of things going on too. Like I am going to California twice this year, which I'm super pumped about. That'll be another episode. But I feel like I have a lot to look forward to this winter. We're actually going to Aruba too. I'm so excited.
Ooh.
I talked about this last time, but it's our 10-year wedding anniversary. Yeah. So I'm super excited. But I feel like you have to set yourself up for those like pitfalls in your business and know that they're going to happen. And what are you doing after they happen to make sure that it doesn't happen again, or it just happens in a different outlook.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of people, when they experience some kind of struggle, instead of learning from it and moving forward, they put themselves in a box and it's like us against the world or me against the world. I think a lot of people struggle with that. And so going back to our prompt for today of, why do people fail and how can you not be like that person? I think this is one thing that a lot of people struggle with is that they try like one or two different strategies. They don't work and it's the end of the world. I can't do it. Like I remember meeting with, I ate a cookie earlier and I think there's like a little crumb in my throat. So I was coughing earlier. Sorry about that. But I remember meeting a new photographer because I do coffee with different businesses and photographers all the time. And I remember meeting somebody a couple years ago who is a family photographer. And she was telling me how she was like wanting to do more, but felt like stunted, like she couldn't. Like there were all these different roadblocks in her path. Everybody in her area like already has their go-to family photographer and she can't, break into it because everybody's already taken, you know what I mean? But this is the most populated area in probably one of the most populated states for its size, and our county area is so busy. So I'm like trying to support her and like, empathize and sympathize and not solve her problem for her because that's not what people want. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, girl, you can do this. I'm like, I'm trying to be a little motivating, but I'm like, this feels so silly. Like you can absolutely. So I think that's to tie into what we were just talking about not holding yourself accountable for deadlines, being the person who knows, oh, I know the boss and she's okay with this because that's me. That's not good. And just feeling like you have a lot of barriers that you can't jump over, but not trying enough different things. And I think that you show that really well with speaking about last year, and you felt that you were struggling in the winter season by not putting money in the right places or something like that. You can explain because it's your story. But this year, I mean, what you just said is like a complete 160, complete turnaround from last year. And so being able to grow and adapt and say, okay, that didn't work. What can I do differently is a huge characteristic for being a good entrepreneur, I think. And a lot of people might lack that, introspective thought to be able to move forward.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I am very good friends with another mobile bar in our area, and they have been in the business now, I want to say 8 or 9 years. So they started before the whole COVID, before the mobile bar scene really came about. And this is, from what I'm seeing on social media, this is by far their busiest year. Like, they are doing 4 weddings per weekend, they have multiple trailers, they have multiple team members now. And it's, instead of using that as a competition, which I would have done in the past, I'm looking at that like, wow, they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah, it's very inspirational.
Very inspirational. But it took a long time to get to that place. Whereas old Jen 2 years ago would have been like, oh my God, they're taking all the weddings in the area. Like, I'm not going to get any weddings now, which obviously is not true.
Yeah.
Like, if we were to look at the statistics of how many weddings happen in this area, it's actually probably crazy.
Yeah.
But it took a lot of like building my own mindset and being more positive to reach that point in my business of, they're not my competition. They're doing the same thing that I'm doing. They're inspiring me. And they're actually really amazing people. They actually came to one of my big events.
Oh, cool.
And they're like, they're a couple. They're the nicest couple in the world. And like, they're just like normal people like me. And it truly showed that if they can do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is kind of how I run my business too, like to help inspire other people and just show them that this girl who was in corporate with 2 kids under 2 built this amazing, successful business, and you can do it too.
And there's room for you too.
There's
room for all of us.
Room for all of us.
Yeah.
And like back to that photographer, like it's just like event planners in the area. And,
Yeah.
you know, the mobile bars are a newer vendor, but we're competing with catering companies. So how many catering companies are out there? How many food trucks that also do bars are out there?
Right.
So it's like, we are, yes, a niche industry and a niche business, but not everyone needs us. So it's like, you just have to tap in authentically to who your people are.
Yeah. And get creative.
And get creative. Yeah. And once you find them, then you're going to rock and roll. And this is the, you know, going into now it'll be year 6 next year, which is crazy. But year 5, I am just now getting on a lot of vendor lists and getting into these venues that I want to work with, who are just referring me because I'm on their list, and they know me, I know them. They know I do a good job. They know I clean up when I leave. They know how to work with me, and vice versa. And that's how it comes in. But the first 2 years, like, they didn't know who I was.
Right.
So it took a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's what this other mobile bar is also seeing. Like, this is probably one of their first years, and it took 8 years for them to get here. And I don't know, I'm not telling their story, but I'm just what I see on social media. And they're at a lot of the same vendors or venues. So I'm sure that now they're being referred, they're getting the business from there. So that's how it kind of like all happens, but it takes time. And I'm not a very patient person. I'm learning, which is crazy because I'm pretty patient with my kids, but in this business, I'm not very patient because I want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I was recently on a podcast with my mobile bar coach, and one of the things we talked about was how social media has turned into this instant gratification, because you post something right away, you get a like, or you get a comment, or you post a story and someone sees it immediately. So you're getting that instant gratification of someone seeing my stuff, they're liking it. And then it goes into like Amazon Prime these days. I live in a town that has a warehouse where I can literally, if I order something early enough in the day, I will get it by 5 o'clock that day.
That's crazy.
Like, excuse me, what?
I don't even get 1-day shipping or 2-day shipping or whatever it is here sometimes.
Exactly. So imagine what this is doing to my brain.
Yeah.
Where like, I don't even need to go out to get something for the same day anymore. Like, I mean, you can also get your groceries delivered to your house. Like, you can literally get everything immediately to your fingertips.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it's really crazy. And, you know, we were talking, another thing I brought up was with my kids. They come, they ask me for something. And if I'm doing something, I try to be like, hey kids, mom's just doing something right now. I'll get to you in 1 second. I need to finish what I'm doing. They have a meltdown because I didn't answer them within 30 seconds. So I'm trying to retrain their brain that when someone is busy and they're doing something, you got to give them a second. But they're just used to that instant gratification already.
Yeah.
And it's like, they want a toy, they usually get it. So I'm working on that on not all the time. My kids are not spoiled brats, but I hope not. But the world now is very easy.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at what ChatGPT and AI is creating. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
That's incredibly instant. Yeah.
But it's also very instant.
Yeah.
So, and you know, with business, things are not happening instantly, and you have to just, you got to stick it out, and until you can't anymore. And then that's okay. But I think we could all be those one businesses that make it. So Meg and I were also looking at some stats, which we wanted to share with you guys, which we found really interesting. So one of them was reasons why businesses fail, which I kind of want to bring up first before we go over.
This is a good one.
The stats of how many businesses do fail. So 42% of businesses fail because there's no market need for their service or product, which is very interesting. 19% was bested by by competition. 18% pricing and cost issues. 17% because of poor product offering. 17% failed because they lacked a business model, which I think is very interesting because, like, as a mobile bar, you either need a bar service or you don't. But how am I explaining to these brides, I'll use as an example because that's a big market of ours, how a mobile bar is different than a catering company who also offers a bar service, who can have it in their package. So I feel that I've done a good way on explaining to our audience why a mobile bar is such a specific, amazing vendor to have at your venue, at your wedding, versus just adding it to the catering company.
Yeah. Can you go back to, because I think that relates also to no market need for the services or products. What was that? 42%? 42% said, I don't need your product. I feel like that's the same thing. They're like, oh, I don't need a different bar company because my catering company offers it.
Yes.
But that 42% of people doesn't see like how cool you are. Like a lot of it is just winning people over. So I kind of feel like these are statistics. It is researched. I think we got this from Forbes. I don't remember. I think it's from Forbes. But like I kind of feel like that is
100%
subjective. Like you know what I mean? Because no market need for that service. I mean, yeah, but our industry is not a necessary industry. Like somebody can go to the courthouse and get married and do none of it. Have nobody there. Show up in jeans, no dress. You know, like that's it. But people want. So I think that's interesting because 42% of people say they don't have a market need for the product, but they don't see how cool you are. So I think a lot of it is just, as you said, like being personal with people, being a good salesman, showing your stuff off, talking yourself up a lot, sharing it everywhere, in person and online. That 42%, like, I feel like, I don't know. Am I crazy? I feel like that's not an objective statistic for our industry.
It kind of prompted something in my head with photography because for our wedding, I loved my photographer. She was great. She got the photos, but I wasn't in a mindset of wanting those like detail shots. So like we had Milano cookies as our, that's so cute. Put them on the table. My last name's Milano. I don't have any photos of the Milano cookies. And like, that was such a personalized thing for our wedding. Yeah. Like, I don't know if I would hang it on my wall in my house, but like, I would have liked to see how it looked on the table.
Yeah.
But like, I didn't tell her about it. And like, also, and like, this is nothing against her, I loved her, but she wasn't that type of photographer. She was I'm going to capture your family and friends in the moments. Like we did a lot of like those ones that you don't like, the lining up, you know.
Yeah.
And
you have to do it.
You have to do it. I have those on my walls. But like right now I'm looking to do a gallery wall in my house. And like I would have loved those like personalized photos from my wedding. Cute. But like I wasn't the bride that cared about that at that time, I guess. But now that I'm in the industry and I'm learning more about it and I'm being educated more, I'm like, damn, I wish I had those.
Yeah.
So it's like, how are those photographers coming to me at the time? And again, I'm like a one-off because she was a family friend of my in-laws. So it just like worked out. Mm-hmm. So I didn't really like shop around for photographers. But I'm wondering if I would have been able to been like sold.
Right.
on getting more of a photographer who's going to show my story in photos.
True. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So at the time, you would have fit in the bucket of saying you didn't have a market need for
100%.
for a detail queen photographer.
Yes.
But now your opinion has changed.
100%.
It's an opinion statistic. So I just wanted to say that when you said, which one was it? I forget which product was it?
Lacked a business model.
Oh yeah. And the poor marketing. I think all of that goes so hand in hand because part of your business model is selling people on the fact that they do want a mobile bar. They don't need it. It is a luxury, but is turning that no market need into a I do need it. You know, you're changing people's perspective. So I just think that's really, really interesting. And that goes into the failed because of poor marketing and failed because they lacked a business model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I am so present on social media, because I feel like that is my free commercial to show people why you need a mobile bar. And, you know, a wedding we had 2 weekends ago is a perfect example. One of their special drinks was espresso martinis. And I was like dreading it. Like, you have no idea.
Really? Are they hard to make?
God.
I love espresso martinis.
You have to shake every single one in order to get that like foam on top. You have to put 3 little garnishes on it of the espresso beans. It was a wedding of 140 people.
Ooh.
So for me, I also get very anxious because I take a lot of pride in, we get through the cocktail hour line. Like, so Brittany and I, my like lead bartender, her and I like crush cocktail hour. Nice. But one of the things that we do is we line up all the specialty drinks on the bar so people can just grab and go.
Oh, fantastic idea.
Whereas the espresso martini, you can't let it sit for more than like a minute, not even, because the foam will start to, you know, go down to the drink and all that. It's also just a very...
And then that's wasted product if nobody picks it up.
Right. Exactly. All the things. And it's just, it's a very time-consuming drink to make for a large crowd. And then I was like, not everyone's going to drink espresso martinis. I was actually trying to persuade my bride not to do it. And she was like, no, like I'm
that would have been me. I'd be like, that's my favorite drink.
Like, I am having espresso martinis. I don't even know how many she had. I'm thinking like she had them and like put them down. But we had a bridal attendant and she kept coming up. She's like, the bride wants another espresso martini. I was like, wait, what? Excuse me? How many did she have? But I think she was like putting them down while she was talking, losing them. Yeah. But she definitely loved her espresso martinis. Aww. And so did all of her guests. Aww. So she knew her audience, which was great. But that is something that I don't want to say a normal bartender, but someone who is also doing the catering, who's also doing the staffing, who's also doing other things would not have been able to take all of their energy to make an espresso martini for 130 people in that time frame that we had. So it's like, I have a post going out soon about that. And that's why you hire a mobile bar, to get that. And the bride was so amazing. She like came up to me towards the, end of cocktail hour. She's like, thank you so much. Like, the espresso martinis were great. So I got that satisfaction. Yeah. And I was so happy that we could like accommodate to her. But then also like she messaged me on Instagram and she was like, thank you so much. Like, so just cute. Again, saying like, thank you. You did a great job. Now, I'm not knocking any catering company, but I just know that we were able to focus solely on making espresso martinis. Yeah. Whereas that's not their role as a catering company. Probably their main role is going to be the food, because that is what their brand is kind of about. They also offer bartending in addition to their food. Whereas us, we're solely bartenders.
Yeah. Like, it's your 100% main focus. Right. It's going to be perfect.
It's going to be perfect. Yeah. Exactly. So.
Oh, and that's interesting for, I think, the second stat. Was it, or the third stat, not having the right team? 23% of businesses failed because they didn't have the right team. So imagine if your co-bartender that you had that night that was helping put out all these espresso martinis, if you didn't have the right team, if you couldn't get really great, sufficient, and efficient bartenders, would you have been through the line like that, like you wanted to, So that's really interesting too, is really finding your tribe and finding the right people that make your business better. And maybe it could even be better than you or faster than you or whatever. Like, they're going to help your business succeed and make sure that you're not part of that 24% or 23% of businesses that fail, And that speaks to me too in my business, because I offer photo and video together, at least here in New England. And I would not be able to do that by myself. I can't do double services by myself. That's impossible. I bring 3 people with me, sometimes 4. So that's just, and my my services wouldn't be as good as they are if I didn't have great professionals who are so artistic and shoot a lot like me and have the same energy. Like if I weren't able to find those people, then nobody would be nobody would be booking me. Yeah. So I'm only like 1% of the crowd of people that I bring with me that make my services so much better. So I just had to tie that in.
Hit the nail on the head saying you're only 1%. Like I cannot tell you how much I have relied on my team the past few years for so many reasons, but specific to I'm now able to do events that I'm not there anymore. And if I didn't have a team to be able to do that, it would never happen. And Vintage Horse year 1 would never think that this could happen. Never would be able to have 2 events going on because I'm like, well, I can't be in 2 places at once. How could that ever work?
Yeah, we could not let go of control at the time.
No.
Yeah.
So if you're like just starting your business and you're kind of in year 1 or year 2 and you are looking to expand now, you have to. It's the only way that you're going to grow your business.
Well, maybe, but it'll come with time too, being able to let go of that control because you built your team of bartenders along the way, and same with me and my shooters. Like my day 1, I didn't have a lot of friends. My day or year 5, I have so many friends. I can't seem to choose who I want to ask to come with me. Like there's too many of them to choose from. It's such a good problem to have. It's so sweet. But also I feel like growing your business, I feel like there's 2 different ways you can go about it. One is growing the volume of your business. So having your second trailer, me having associate shooters, doing multiple events on a day, multiple events per weekend. That's one way. And then I think another way is really streamlining your service and incorporating tons of content or like tons of inclusions and things. And then scaling back on the volume of it. So really putting in a punch in whatever you're offering that's offering a lot that has like a big value to it, and then scaling back. I know that a lot of people do that really successfully, and they do less events or they offer, I don't know, just less volume of whatever they're doing with a higher value. So instead of doing, 3 weddings in a weekend, they're doing 1 per month, but making the same amount of money. So I think that's also a way to grow your business, but you have to really offer something really fantastic and find the right people that value that and be a really good salesman. Like we said, good business model, like we said. So different way to go about it.
Because I just recently saw a event planner post that her books were closed for 2026 and she's reevaluating her 2027 like vision of her business where she's not booking anything. There's like a waiting list to work with her and she's only doing full weekend package events.
Exactly.
And exactly what you just said. And I feel like I've also done that with my business where we do 3 events in one day now, but now there's going to be some weekends where I don't have anything, but I'm making more money because we're doing more on one day versus, whatever. And we've upped our prices and things like that. But I think it definitely takes time to realize all of that.
Yeah.
And whether, you expand after 1 year, after 5 years, after however many years, I think that one thing that Meghan and I have both learned in our business is we're constantly looking to see how we can better ourselves each year. And it might not be adding something. Like this year, I didn't really add anything to my inventory. Like I had the dew trailers. I already had the satellite bars, but I added more events. Mm-hmm. But I have a team now. Right. So like me personally, I'm not doing more events, but my team is doing more events. So it's just interesting to see how because the other years, the first year I added a second trailer. The next year I added a second satellite bar. Like I was constantly adding a product versus this year, like I added more bodies, if that makes sense.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, the business, like with what you offer, what you have is where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And now you're focusing on scaling back by having more. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
And I also I said no to a lot of things this year, which was interesting because I look back and I'm like, I don't know if I did as many weddings as I did in the past, but I did more larger weddings this year. And I did more like qualified weddings this year or events in general. And I think I have just learned what works for the business, what type of clientele works for the business, and what doesn't work.
I like that.
Yeah, it took 5 years to get there. And I'm by no means perfect by any means, but I just think that you learn over time, and same thing with you. Like, I feel like what bride is going to appreciate your work versus who might not be a good fit for you.
Right. Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Completely.
And then I want to share the last kind of percentage on why businesses fail. 14% failed because they ignored their customers.
Oh yeah, that's so juicy. That's so tea.
We had to talk about this. And it's very interesting because I'll get, leads from clients and we'll talk and I'll, have a conversation with them. And they're like, yeah, I reached out to a few bars and just never heard back from them. And sometimes I'll ask like if it was someone in the area, like who it was. Just I like to hear my competition sometimes. And, sometimes they'll say someone, I'll be like, oh yeah, like I either know that they're selling the business or I know that they're, not taking it. But it's interesting because they haven't like shut their doors yet, but they're just not responding to customers. So it's just like very interesting to see how these businesses phase out, I guess. But also like I do see how it gets overwhelming for one person. And if you don't have a team, like there has definitely been times where I try to get back to customers within 24 hours, but I know that there's been multiple times where, because HoneyBook tells you how many days ago, you either talked to them or the lead came in or whatever. And there's been like weekends where I'm really busy and it's like this lead came in 4 days ago and I'm like, oh my God, like I haven't gotten back to this customer in 4 days. And that's not my business motto at all, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, things slip.
Things slip.
I recently had one too. I had somebody inquire for a date in end of June and I'm moving beginning of June, so I'm not going to be around. And so I asked my associate team, I asked a couple people, hey, are you available for this? And everybody was like, sure, I'll get back to you. I'm checking things out. And I just haven't heard back from people. And because of that, I haven't responded. And then I saw on HoneyBook in my notifications, it was like 7 days ago. And I was like, 7 days ago? It's been an entire week. I have to respond today. So I responded with pricing and explained the associate team and was like, I'm just waiting to hear back availability from specific people on my team, but I would love to move forward with a phone call if you're interested in blah, blah, blah. But it's been a week. So, I kind of like kicked myself for that one. I was like, shoot. But I'm the same way. I try to respond to people within 24, 48 hours, depending on what day they're inquiring. If somebody inquires on a Friday, I likely won't get back to them until Monday because of weddings. But that's where Taylor comes in. Taylor, love you. I know you're listening. My virtual assistant, she helps poke me with things like that to be like, hey, I see your calendar's really busy this weekend. Do you want me to respond to this lead? Girl, I love her so much. So that also has helped my business and helped my process, but she just got married. So, this week-long inquiry that I didn't respond to, Taylor's really busy. So, and I understand. But you know what I mean? Like things slip. Like that was so not me, but because I already knew that I was going to respond with an unfortunately, then I was also kind of pushing it off because I wanted to be able to offer them some substantial information. Yep. But I kind of gave them a very generic, it won't be me, but, and I don't think it will go anywhere because I didn't really, if I were in their position, I would understand, be like, oh, this person took 7 days to get back to me and it's not even going to be her at the wedding. I'm not going to work with her, And I was talking to, I was at an engagement party and a couple of friends, like in like this friend group, are all engaged, and so they were talking about their like vendor process, and one of them had just been married and was talking about her experience with her photographer. One of them just got her engagement pictures done, so she was like scrolling through all the photos, and we were talking about things, and one of them was chatting about the videographer that they were working with, and they were having a couple different consultation calls with people, and one guy said that I think he had another lead for that day, and he communicated that to them and said, oh, I have somebody else inquiring for your day, so like let's move forward with a phone call because you have to book first if you want me. And it was like this thing, and then she was like pretty rapidly responding, communicating with him like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go, and he ghosted her. And then the other person ended up booking, and he was like, oh, sorry, the other person booked, but it was like they booked, like he was just not responding to her and responding to, I guess, the one he wanted to take. So like that is really interesting to me too, because like if you could leave a review for people that you haven't worked with, a lot of people would have really bad reviews, you know what I mean? Because like that customer experience, even though they didn't end up booking with him because they couldn't, they wanted to, but he wasn't responding to them, so like he was ghosting them, and yeah, like that wouldn't give a good review. And what I did to that girl, like 7 days later, like that wouldn't give me a good review if she could give me, so
That's so funny.
Interesting.
Because I am helping source venues for the mobile bar conference we're doing next year. And I would say 8 out of 10 that I've reached out to got back to me. I'm sorry. 2 got back to me out of the 10.
Oh, the 8
so
did not.
2 out of, yeah. It was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And like we had multiple, so every Thursday we have a call with the team who's planning it. And like we couldn't give updates because we're like, nobody's getting back to us. Like what is,
That is
I know
so
California's a little
frustrating.
more chill, but I'm like, does nobody want, like this is a very large revenue conference. Like you see the stats that come in of what we're looking for. How are you not getting back to people? That's like someone telling me like, I want to spend $10,000 with you. Here you go. And then me not getting back to them.
Right?
It's like, what? Crazy.
Doesn't
I mean,
make
this
sense.
is like a very big program. Anyway, it was crazy. So the one that we're probably going to go with is the one who got back to me the same day, set up a call with me, did a virtual tour,
Wow.
all the things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going with you, even if you're not like, the venue was a little smaller than we needed, but we're making it work because she was so accommodating. And that just goes to show like we actually are tailoring our conference around the venue.
Wow.
Because she was so awesome.
Wow.
So it's like, that's wild that worked out.
Wow. That business is lucky to have her.
I know. They are.
That's crazy.
And it's funny because we got into like more conversations and she's from New York. And I'm like, oh girl, I knew I liked you. Because she's like that fast pace of this,
This area. Yeah.
this area, this side of the country. And she's like, I just know that you're waiting for an answer and I don't want you waiting on me. And I was like, wow, yes, girl. Yes.
That's
And I was
funny.
like, well, I can't wait to work with you. So anyway, I had to kind of throw that in.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to go over the percentages of businesses that fail really quickly?
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
yeah. Considering everything we just talked about, all of the things that we think could consider somebody to fail, the poor business model, lack of marketing, not really selling yourself. And so people think that there's not a value and there's no like market for your product or your business, but there is. You're just not convincing them that there is. This is year by year the percentage of businesses that end up failing.
Which is honestly much less than I thought.
I know. Yeah. This is from this year.
2025.
Okay.
Yep. So, well, this is technically from 2024 because they don't have the stats of this year yet.
Yeah.
But in the first year, 79% make it. So that was really interesting.
Yeah. Because we also looked up, and with like the AI overview that comes up like first, this is from an article, but the AI overview said 50%. And that stat we found out was from 2018. So from 2018, it was 50%. And now in 2024, it's, what did you say? 87, 89?
79%.
79. I was close.
Yep. And
crazy.
Then, yeah. And then 3 years, it goes to 61%. So they're saying like 30% don't make it. And then in 5 years, 50% won't make it.
Wow.
This is saying who does make it. So let's just say by year 10, 34% of companies are still in business.
Can you repeat that? 34% are still in
34%.
business after 10 years.
Yeah.
Well,
So it definitely goes down, which I mean is understandable. Either you find new business ventures. Maybe this is not fully entrepreneurs leaving the entrepreneur scene, but starting a different type of business.
That could be.
You know,
Could
you
be
don't know.
age.
Could be age. Yes. Yep. You get burnt out after 10 years. Yeah, there's a lot of different things, but I actually thought this was very interesting. Not gonna lie, I thought it was a very high percentage of people that are still surviving business because it's not easy.
no.
It is not easy. But you know what's harder for me? Going back to corporate and working for someone else.
Except your friend just gave a pretty positive review
She did
about
she
it.
did.
So that's
I mean,
interesting.
She did say that it's still very, I mean, she's only in month 1, but she did say that it is very challenging juggling all the things, but she just has to get back to her routine and she'll be totally fine when she gets that routine back in. Like anything else, you know, change is really hard. Change is definitely, you know, going to come and go, but
I was just looking up a stat
Ooh.
because the 10-year mark that only 34% make it past 10 years. That was interesting to me because I was like, oh, I wonder how old people are, because maybe that's retirement age. So I Googled it. The average age for starting a new business varies between 34 to 42 and some higher at 45.
they're just starting.
They're just starting at 45 or in a window of 34 to 42. 34 to 42 seems like the more average, but some are up to 45. So that's interesting, because if you're starting your business at 34, 10 years go by, you're 45. That could be an early retirement age. Or if you're starting it at 42, then 10 years later, you're about 55. That's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
That is so crazy. That's way older than I thought it would be. But I think that's one of the first things we even talked about on the podcast, was that there are no limits. You can do whatever you want. You know, all of these famous people started in their garages when they were 50. Yes, so that's accurate. That's crazy.
No, it's so true. And it's very interesting because I recently, when I was on the last podcast with my mobile bar coach, I said something along the lines of like, I started entrepreneurship later in life. And like, I don't
Absolutely
think it's later
not.
in life. Yeah.
No.
And now that I like,
you're at the beginning of that range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that I like see that, and then also just think like, I mean, am I going to be pouring drinks behind a bar when I'm 60? I don't know. Maybe it'll be like my midlife crisis that comes back and I still want to do it. Or maybe I've just established such an amazing team that I am totally out of the events phase. So I don't know.
This is interesting to me too. I wonder, because I know with Abby, when she makes our financial reports for us each month, she shows us our profit margin for the month and then year to date. And at least for me and with the photography industry, she says that she wants my profit margin to be like 60% or higher for photographers. And this is saying the average profit margin recommended for small businesses ranges between 7 and 10.
Oh yeah, mine's much higher.
Yeah, that's crazy. She told me that if it was like lower than 50, then she'd be a little concerned for me. And I was like, okay, cool, sweet. I'm glad that I'm in the range that you want me to be in, because I don't know. But this is crazy. This is saying 7 to 10%. But I've heard nothing about this company. It's from an article on Vina. Never heard of that before, so who knows if this is accurate or where this is even coming from. But Google rabbit hole, got lost. But
we do that. But no, yeah, it's just interesting to like look at different statistics when you're in the scene, in the business, and just seeing that you're doing all the right things, and you know, just by staying afloat, you are like successful, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I just think it's crazy that we're here year 5 and kind of just like having these conversations about stats and stuff.
I know.
It's kind of wild.
And reflecting. Like we've reflected on so much over the past 4 or 5 years, and it's just wild to see the conversation that we're having today versus our first episode. It's just,
I know. And just to kind of like wrap it up also, you know, I think a very big reason that I am still loving entrepreneurship so much is the community that I built.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that if you don't have a community, go find one. If you don't have people in your corner, go find them. Yeah. Because if you think that people don't want to talk to you, you're wrong.
Yeah.
If you think that people in your industry don't want to talk to you, you're completely wrong. Because as a mobile bar owner, I love talking to other mobile bars, even if they're in my area. But I have a lot of friends who are not in my area, and I think it's a little easier to talk to them. So like find someone in your industry who's in a different state than you, or who, even if they're in your back corner, like it doesn't matter. And that's what I learned. It took a little bit of time, because competition is a good thing. Like if there's no competition, that means that your business isn't needed. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So I think that competition is always going to be a good thing if you look at it in that light, but find someone who you can chat with. Find your business bestie. Like I'm so grateful that I have so many women in business and entrepreneurship who I can literally pick up the phone and be like, and you and Devin are big ones, but I have so many, but like I can call Dev and be like, I'm going to murder someone. I need you to talk me off this ledge right now. Yeah. And she'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I got to talk to you about this too.
Yeah.
And it's like,
it's so nice.
It's so nice to have that person. Yeah. And like, we literally met at a wedding. Like it's wild. So like our story is actually crazy. And I just think it's, you got to find those people and keep them around. Yeah. And I'm also learning a lot with like my personal friendships that friendships come and go, and I'm very lucky that I have actually been friends with the same people for over 20 years. Wow. There's like a group of us from high school that and before that have just been friends, and we've gone through all walks of life. And it's an easy, natural friendship. It's not ones that we have to work for. We see each other when we see each other, but we make time to see each other. But also, like, it's okay for relationships to come and go, but the ones that stay are going to be the ones that are the easiest. Yeah. And you don't have to work for them. And like my friend who just recently got a job, our friendship just happened very recently in the past like 2 to 3 years. And it came so naturally and so easy. And like, I wasn't looking for new friends, but like, I don't know what I would do without her now. So it's like, it's really interesting to see like how those people come and fit in your lives.
Yeah.
So you got to find your community.
Oh, yeah. And you never know who knows who and, you know, where things are going to lead you. So
100%.
Making a friend with one person might open up a huge door for you to be friends with so many other people, which is how I've made so many amazing photographer friends. Is like I met one person and then because of that, we met another person. And because of that, they introduced us to this other crowd. And it's just, yeah, now when I have like I need to vent, I have my girl group chat on Instagram DMs and I am just like, hey guys, I need to vent. And everybody responds with these gifts and they're like, Megan, you got this. It's just like having that group is so important and it keeps you going. And yeah, I'm just so excited that I also am like making friends in Alaska now because of social media.
Yeah.
And I'm already finding like groups of girls that as soon as I get there, you bet I'm having coffee dates with them. Like I'm so excited. And it's just like there's people like that everywhere. And that's an even smaller market than it is here. And there's still so many kind people that want to hang out with me. And they're not threatened by me moving in or anything like that. It's a welcoming environment. And there's so many people like that out there. So I'm really grateful and excited.
And how did those come about? Like, did you reach out to them? Like, how did those relationships start?
Yeah, well, with moving, I've been doing a lot of research and looking into people out there to see like price comparison and things about my business that I think I should change to better fit the clientele there, or you know, whatever, just see if I need to do anything differently and to like begin marketing and begin making friends, because the network is really important. And if I'm going to be booking weddings out there now for next year, like I would love to already have people that I could ask to second shoot or for me to second shoot for them and whatever, just to get business going. So I was following a bunch of people and just like commenting on things that I like about them posting, or like swiping up and be like, that color looks good on you, you know, just like starting to, that's how you make friends. And there's so many people that I've already found so many things in common with. And it's just like, there's these 2 girls specifically that I'm thinking of that, you know, we just like instant friends, like just like, I don't know. It just happened. Yeah. So,
because it's authentic. You both are in the right time, in the right place, all the things. But that goes back to like, I started a mobile bar, like Instagram group, and it was mobile bars that I had been like DMing with over time. And I'm like, why am I DMing each of these individually? Like, let's just start a group chat.
Yeah.
And literally that's how it came about. And it was all mobile bars that started around COVID, around the same time. And it's interesting to see where all of our paths are now. Like some of them are so successful. It's like insane. Some of them have sold their businesses now. Some of them are just like still dabbling here and there. And it's just so interesting to see like all the different, and like we all feed off of each other still. And like, for example, we had a question about what cups to use, and she put it in the chat and she was like, oh, what do you guys use for this specific drink? It was an old fashioned. And like we all chimed in like what we use, and like it's so easy to have that conversation. But like if she didn't have that support, she probably would have felt a little lost. Like, I don't know what to use for this drink, like what's going to be the best cost effective one to purchase and all the things. But like she got it in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. And other people's experiences are going to be so much more valuable than just like looking it up on Google 100%. Or whatever. Yeah. I love learning from other people, and that's such a important aspect of it too, is having friends that have gone through things that you haven't before. Incredible.
Yeah. And if you don't have it, create it yourself.
Yeah.
Like that was the big event for Devin and I. We couldn't find a space. The mompreneur event, that's why I couldn't find a space of where I could get moms who run businesses in a room together. And that's how these mobile bar chats started. Like I started them. Just start it and be the one who kicks it off.
I love it.
Well, we're going to wrap up today. I have a busy day. I'm sure you do too.
Yes.
But we'll be back soon and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We have some people we were just chatting before we got on the air. And in the slow season, we have some slow season thoughts ruminating. I remember we chatted about this even last slow season. I can't believe the year has already gone by. I remember we had a couple episodes we were like, we're going to have guests on, and we never did.
Never did.
And we still have have the intention to do that once business slows. So we're so excited. We have some things coming up on the pod, and hopefully, cross my fingers, we will get to more consistent posting. I apologize, and I know you always tell me not to feel bad about it, but I do. And this goes back into having deadlines and whatever, but I'm excited that we're still recording consistently. I'm just lacking on the posting department, but it'll all get out. It'll be okay. Maybe it'll be a once a week thing. Who knows? Maybe it'll be great. Anyway,
awesome.
We'll see you in the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.